Hey, just wanted to make a quick spring update video. It's been a little while. Everything's warming up, starting to come out. All these raspberries that I planted a little bit ago. This one's even sending out another raspberry. Lots of flowers for the bees. Lots of seeds. Good protein for all the insects. Got some baby brassicas coming up. These are collards. Got some of my old transplants that kind of got stunted a little bit, but we'll see how they're doing. Let's see what else we got. Some of the strawberries. Got some sage right there. Some pea, some garlic, some shallots. Got all cover crops that I planted out in the last video. Some of them survived. A lot of them are just going in straight wood chips. It's not even down in the soil, but they're doing well. Hopefully they're feeding life. Got a decent amount of weeds coming up. I'm just kind of letting them go for now. Hopefully they don't get too out of control. Got these nice violets. Some potatoes coming up. Some more brassicas, kale and cabbage. Let's see, strawberries. Some beets. And right here, I've got my plum tree I planted from a cutting. This was just a stick a couple months ago. Now it's doing pretty well. So now I'm gardening full time, trying to get as much food as I can. Some broccoli, some more kale flowering. So I think that everyone should be gardening right now. Alright, so here's the hole I dug for the peach tree. History of this little spot is it had compost on it since 2 falls ago. And then last fall I covered it in wood chips. So it's definitely had time to loosen up. And I feel pretty confident putting a tree in here. It's got lots of worms. Got the violet and peas have been growing here. Some henbit. So there's probably some good mycorrhizal activity in there. So I'm gonna drop it in. Probably gonna make it a little bigger. See, it's got a pretty massive root system on it. Here's the Red Haven peach. Here's what it looks like all mulched up. Definitely could have straightened it better. It's a bit of a curvy tree anyways. Kind of looks like it's going back up straight a little bit. We'll see. And I'm gonna put my cherry tree right here. There used to be a mound of compost here with tomatoes, so I'm just gonna clear that away. I'll show you what it looks like. I don't even see where the compost mound is anymore. The worms mixed it all up, which is good. It's all just loose soil, loose-ish. See how it digs up. This is what the Stella cherry tree looks like once I planted it in the ground. Made a little bit of a mound, a little bit of compost on top, mostly native soil. Now I'm just gonna cover it with wood chips. I'm gonna put my Methley Plum tree here, so clear it off and show you what we got. Alright, I cleared all the wood chips away. Time to get digging. Here's the Methley Plum tree. This is probably the best spot for the tree I've got, because I started putting stuff down here a year and a half ago, first with a few inches of compost, then 12 inches of straw, and then now it's just got a few inches of wood chips on it, so happy to put this tree here. To give you an idea of the process, I just stuck the tree in there, and then I filled in a little bit of dirt while holding it in place, and I pretty much just kept on sprinkling in dirt around slowly, and then shaking it so that the soil settles around the roots and there's no air pockets at all. Air pockets are not good for trees. Here's what it looks like after it's been planted. Wishing it luck. Here's the last spot I'm digging out. So there's a mound of compost that had straw on it. All the straw is breaking down, all the wood chips breaking down. Seems like a good spot for a fig tree. Here's my fig. Gonna put it in the ground before it dries out. Alright, here it is. Just gonna water them in again, and I'll walk around and show you how all my trees look. Alright, so I got all my trees in, so now I'm just gonna walk you through all the trees I have in the order that I got them. So these were the first trees I got. It's a nice, let's see if I can get out of the way of the light. Very nice looking tree right now. This is about 4 years old. I put it in the ground last year, and I got a few with it. This is an older one, it's about 5 years. Might fruit this year or next year, not really sure. And those two did pretty well. The other two I got not doing too well. One down here. Seems like a lot of this wood died back, none of it's leafing out. But I did see that there is a new stalk coming out of the bottom. That's the same over here. Well, this has one living branch, and then a few stalks coming out of the bottom, and a bunch of dead wood. I think the drainage was just bad, because the beans in the same area also had some issues, seemed like, from the drainage. Alright, so after that, I didn't get a tree. Until this Pluerry. Just getting a little bit chewed up. Tops got chewed up by, I think, a bunny or something. But maybe the pruning will help it out. Some of these peas attacking it. Seems to be recovering, sending out new branches. It's only a year old. I put it in during the winter. So it's only been in the ground a few months. And a little bit afterwards I planted this Pluot tree, which just took off. Might be because of all the compost. So hopefully it's not sending up too much growth. I'm not sure if the lighter colored leaves are because of a nutrient deficiency, or if the newer leaves are just lighter. Not really sure what's going on. It's pretty cheap though, it's like 20 bucks. And those are good old pals. Here's a plum tree I got from Lowe's. I think it's called Santa Rosa. Only got it a few weeks ago. Seems to be settling in. Or actually like a week ago, not even a few weeks ago, but it seems to be settling in pretty well. It's definitely the biggest tree I have so far. I like how it's shaping up. That brings us back to the 4 new ones. So I think I'm gonna do like a light pruning on these. Just a little bit to get it to stimulate growth. Yeah, not too much. I just cut off some of the weaker branches and left the stronger ones. It's looking pretty good. It's a little crooked, but it's bending into my lawn towards the sun, so hopefully it doesn't get too unstable. Here's the Stella cherry tree. No pruning to be done on this. It's all just one big trunk. I'm gonna do a light pruning on this plum too. It's got a lot of tangled branches. And that was a Red Haven peach, if I didn't mention. Ended up pruning a little bit more than I wanted, but it seemed like there were a lot of dead branches, so I wanted to get those off. It's looking pretty open. Here's that fig again. It's an Olympia fig. And I'm gonna cut off this branch right here because it seemed to be hanging off a little bit. Might have broken transit. And that leads us to our cuttings, which I don't really consider full trees, but I'll show you guys as many as I can find in the garden that have been leafing out. I'm not sure if these even survived. Here's some of the plum cuttings I cut off of my Santa Rosa plum. Seems like some of them are frying up, but we'll see if any of them survive. And then got some red mulberries sprouting that I put here in fall. There's another mulberry. I forgot to mention this hazelnut. It's doing pretty well. Put this in the fall. It's about a year old. Here's a peach, I think. Just started to leaf out, but it seems like it's having some issues. This is by far the healthiest cutting I've got. It's the Santa Rosa plum. That is doing great. I'm assuming it has roots. I'm not really sure, but blends in with all the other vegetation. Nice and green. Got an apple leafing out. Another apple. One more. There's a big mulberry. Believe this is a cherry or a plum. Who knows? There's another ambiguous stone fruit. This isn't a tree, but I grew this red currant from a cutting as well. Just sticking it in the ground in fall and doing absolutely nothing. Easy money.